So Xavier is an elite performance coach and motivational speaker. As a former street kid, Jeff left school and home at the age of 14 and spent most of his teenage years homeless and on the streets of King's Cross. At 18 years of age, Jet nearly lost his life in a horrific and tragic circumstances, but rebounded by overcoming many major obstacles and challenges in the process. His story is a powerful message of how one can overcome severe adversity and recover to become a great success in life. So guys, if you'd like to all be upstanding and put your hands together for Jet Xavier!
That was good. I'm always cautious about being introduced as a motivational speaker. Because let's face it, at the end of the day, if you can't motivate yourself, you're stuffed. Yeah? Would you agree? So there's a bit of pressure on me to try and motivate people. But I love what I do. I've had a great day today. And hopefully today you're going to take away something that's of value to you that you can implement into your business, but more importantly, into your life. Now, I must be upfront with you. I'm not really a good speaker, okay? So can we just lower the expectation a little bit? Just bring it down. I'm not really good at speaking. I don't do a lot of speaking, and I think I'm pretty crap out of it. But you know what? I'm freaking honest, yeah? So would you allow me to be a bit clumsy and haphazard and not really brilliant at speaking, but add a little bit of value? Is that all right? Yeah. All right, perfect. I've got to do, because I'm a motivational speaker, I'm supposed to do my Tony Robbins warm-up, so sorry. Woo! Woo! Yeah! Sorry. Woo! You're not supposed to see that. So I'm ready. Okay. Who's happy here? Everyone happy? Yeah. So we've got half a room full of liars. We go, are you happy? You go, yeah, I'm happy. But when we break it down, sometimes we're not as happy as we want to be. Is that correct? Sorry? For this 5 minutes. For this 5 minutes? Is that all right? Okay. Give me 10, I reckon I'll make you ecstatic. Okay, there you go. We're on the right track. Who bullshits themselves? Anyone here? Is it just me? Yeah? We do. We're good at it. We're Australians. We're good at it. Always talk the talk. We don't necessarily walk the walk. Yeah? Things are always bigger and better than they really are sometimes. Always trying to get to places that, well, maybe we'll never get there. So it's way out there. There's a lot of BS in our culture around what we want to do, who we want to be and where we want to go. Today I want to break a little bit of that down, but also give you some hope. Who's got kids here? Yeah? Who wants kids? No, my kids. No, I'm trying to get rid of mine. I got a 19-year-old, she's at uni doing teaching, that's good. I'm being divorced. Who's been divorced? Yeah? This is just a relating part. You got to speak, you got to come out and relate and do all that sort of stuff, and then you get some message. Just let me get that out of the way and then we'll get going, all right? But I got a 19-year-old and she's at uni. When she was 14, it was like, she's really, I've got 2 kids, I'll tell you about the first one. Just really going through that, I don't know if it's just a girl thing at 14 and 15, but she was like, I wanted to kill her. So one day the mother rings me up, Zoe's her name, the daughter, she's going off again. You need to come over. So, super dad, I'm never there. I wasn't really a good husband. I'm not really a good dad, to be honest, either. I do my best, right? Here I go, on my horse, I'm going to save the day, So I get there and I've had enough. Just had enough of her. She's just acting out, I don't know what to do with her. So I grab her and I throw her in my car. This is 2:30 in the morning. She's 14. I drive straight up to Redfern, straight down to Everleigh Street. I pull up, I wind down all the windows and I go, hey! Next minute, all these people are just coming from everywhere towards the car. What do you think she's doing? I'm sorry! I won't do it again! I'm yelling out louder. And there's a bonfire over here. There's people climbing out of buildings over there. There's all these people walking over. It's like, you see a zombie movie? It's like that. They got needles hanging out their arms and one eye going down here. She's going, I won't do it again. Oh, sorry. I said, see this? You want to act like the way you act, this is where you're going to end up. Yeah? You don't want to change, even at 14. You don't want to start thinking about taking some responsibility. This is what you're going to end up. By this time, I'm crapping myself. I'm in the middle of Everleigh Street, Redfern, 2:30 a.m. Now, I grew up there, but it's different 25 years later. It had changed a little bit, right? And I just remember that you just can't drive and pull up in Everleigh Street even if you did grow up there. It's not a cool thing to do. So I'm counting down the time. They're getting closer. She's still screaming. I'm giving her the lecture. By the time they're about a metre from the car, it's like... and off we go. But the lesson, the lesson was, for her, is that don't wait till things crash and burn or get really bad to make a change. Do something about it now. And so she went on, she's doing uni now, and I think she's through that stage. But I got another 14-year-old. I'm telling you, I want to kill her. I do. She's just driving me nuts. But there'll be no driving down the middle of Everleigh Street and putting her there. But they're very challenging, the kids. Very, very, very challenging. What do we got here? Who works where and what do we do? We've got a small enough group to throw a few things out there. I've met a couple of people. Give us some...
We're builders.
Bookkeeper, builders, renos, landscaper, builders. You don't look like a builder. What sort of builder are you? Huh? He looks like a builder. Builder of homes. Dreams. Oh, look at that. Isn't that nice? What's the marketing pitch? I'll build your dream, he'll build your home. Is that how it goes? I'll give you the dream. What's going on over here?
Engineer.
Yeah, engineer.
Wife's a hairdresser.
Wife's a hairdresser. You work with her?
No, a teacher.
Teacher? Help her?
Behind the scenes stuff.
Okay, good.
You've used as a marketing consultant?
Yep.
Uni student.
Uni student, yep. Is that a job? No. It's fun?
Played at skin clinics.
Okay. What's over here? Some businesses?
Strategic planning?
Yep.
Professional nerd.
Professional nerd. Okay. Yep.
Oh, music teacher.
Music teacher, that's right.
Engineering.
Engineering.
Industry network.
Industry network.
Disability trust.
Yep.
Freelance selling.
Freelance selling. I know what you guys do.
University.
University.
Market research.
Market research. What's market research about? Do you say that at parties, bud? You do? What do you do? Market research. Oh, okay. All right. What sort of market research? How's business? Great, volatile, tough, good, busy, has its moments. Yeah. It's pretty much like this, yeah? Yeah. Huh?
It's best week.
It's past week, yeah. Bookkeeper. Angie. I just had to register for GST. They want me to pay the money now. Back. I get it. Give it back to them.
Yeah.
I don't do too bad in my business, but I've waited as long as I could. And I've written off as much as I could every year to avoid it. But I can't do it anymore. I was a personal trainer for 10 years. Talk about cash industries. Should I say that? Is this on camera?
Just speaking to the flowers.
I'm starting to sweat now. I'm nervous. God.
But don't
Yeah.
wait to make a change.
No, I won't. Hey, 5 minutes is up. How am I going? You still happy? She's laughing. Look at that. I'm going to have a giggle. So it's like this, yeah? Who'd like it to be a bit more stable, a bit more consistent? Yeah? Who'd like to make a bit more freaking money?
Yeah.
Yeah? Of course we would. Who'd like to change more people's lives doing what they're doing? Of course they would. That's why you're here, I gather. Yeah? To learn some new skills. Yeah? To mentor. This groups like this are amazing. Fantastic, yeah?
Yep.
Very important. This in business has happened over the years to some extent. But what's happening now, it is starting to grow. Because this is what's called a mastermind group, really. A group of people learning, sharing ideas. I hope you've been sharing across businesses and learning and understanding and going through, the terrors of business at the moment and the good times. I hope you've been doing that. Because this is valuable. And you need to do more of this. Yeah? So this is a great business. But we want more stability. We want to make some money. We want to have a good life. Who wants to have a good life as well? Yeah? Who's working themselves into the ground at the moment? Anyone? Just me. Me, you and you. What the rest are you doing? What? I want to market research. I'm getting into market research. I'm in the wrong business. I'm in that. Look, today I got up at 6 o'clock. I had a session at 7 o'clock with a real estate. I mainly work in the real estate industry. I've been a coach for 6 years. I'll tell you a little bit about that, but I mainly work in the real estate industry. So the guy is writing 600,000 in commissions and he wants to write 800,000. So I'm working on him to do that. I went from there to another franchise and I sat down with the team and we did a session there. I went and seen my mentor after that because I got my own coach and his business turns over about 35 million a year. And so we sat down and did some things together and I learned of him. And then I've come down, I live at Cronulla and I've come down here for this tonight. Yes. But I'm a South Sydney supporter. Any South Sydney supporters? It's going to be one. Far out. And then we're going, where are we going, Steve, tonight? To the basketball, yeah. So that's going to be cool. I love my life. I love it. I get it. I'm 200 metres from the beach. I walk down the Esplanade whenever I want. I'm self-employed. I'm a sole trader. I've got no staff. I've got no overheads, really. I've got a home office. This is my car. I work whenever I want to, and I still make 6 figures. I love my life. I love it. But I didn't wake up and just do that. It doesn't just happen, does it? I want to make more money. I want to be more successful, blah, blah, blah. I want everything. I want what everybody else wants. But I've got my life to a point where I feel like for the first time in my life, I've got a bit of control back. Yeah, who would like a bit more control back in their life? Yeah. Because work just picks you up in the morning and goes, bang! And you walk home at night and go, oh, shit, I love my job.
Was that what it is? I thought it was the night before.
How am I doing, right? Am I going right? Thanks, mate. It's my 2 gauges here. They say I suck, it's like, wind up, wind it up. Wind it up. Yeah, if he starts doing that... If he starts doing that, he's either been talking to Angie too long or it's me. Get me out of here. She talks about bookkeeping one more time. I'm going to kill her. Help. I'm only joking. But I love my life. I love where I'm at. But I know in business and I know in life, a lot of people don't like where they're at. They're in a business and they like what they do, but they're not there. They're not in that sweet spot. And the sweet spot I don't mean by they're making zillions, yeah, and they're driving the car. That's just the bullshit Hollywood stereotype of what success is, right? It's got nothing to do with that. Good to have money, gives you options, you can travel, you can do what you want. But after you've done all that, what have you got? If you do the same again. There's limited to amount of what we can do. Why do you think Gates and Buffett are giving away their money? Because they're bored shitless. You know? They could. But it's more than that. You'd agree, yeah? But we just keep going and struggling and trying and we're chasing that elusive dream. And, you know, it's like that saying, man who chases 2 rabbits catches none. And it seems like we're on a consistent cycle. We end up the same place at the end of the day. Would you agree? Am I? Work with me, yeah? If it's crap, tell me. If it's good, work with me. We got to get out of that. Yes. We got to. Because we're going to get to the point at the end of our lives where we go, excuse the language, what the fuck was I doing? Yeah? That's what happens. All the research shows people at the end of their lives on their deathbeds have said what? Oh, I wished I worked really hard. No, they didn't say that. Oh, I wished I spent more time at work. I wish I invested millions of dollars and went bankrupt 3 times and got a divorce and had 2 14-year-olds. They don't say that, do they? What do they say? That's right. What else? More time with my friends, my family. Isn't it funny? In this part of our lives, we don't want to do that. We'd rather bust our ass and die, yeah, and try and be successful and wait till we're nearly dead to go, oh, hang on, I wish I should have done that. We're a smart lot, aren't we? We are a smart lot. So I'm going to just take you through a little journey, yeah? It's my journey. It's not your journey, it's mine. And maybe at the end of it, you'll take something out of it which will apply to your life and business. Okay. So, let's start from here. That's me. Well, they're all me. I use different photographers, but that's... I'm like a 17-year-old kid, and I'm going nuts.
Is that you in the high heels?
Yeah, that's me, yeah. No, I'm the car, mate. It's a fancy dress night. I dressed up as a car. So I'm 17 and I'm out of control. And I'm going nowhere. I'm a heroin addict. My girlfriend's a prostitute up in King's Cross. I'm sleeping in places like that photo down on the right. I'm actually using needles in that type of rubbish because back in that time you couldn't go to a chemist and get needles. You had to be a diabetic and you had to have a doctor's thing and all this sort of stuff. Now you can just rock up to needle exchanges and get them. So I'm exposing myself to HIV. I'm homeless, unemployed. I've got a sawn-off shotgun that we use for armed robberies. I'm taking coke, speed, pills, sniffing lighter fluid, petrol, glue. I just want to kill myself. I just want to destroy myself. I'm not happy. I'm broken. I'm hurt. I'm an emotional cripple. I don't want to take responsibility, and I want you to know about it. I want you to feel my pain. I want you to be part of my journey that wasn't nice. I want the world to know that I'm angry, that I'm violent, and I'm not going to take shit from anybody. I'm a 17-year-old going nowhere, just on a vicious cycle. I grew up in Sydney. My mum left when I was about 6. She was well, let's put it kindly, she was a slut. I saw her sleep around with a lot of men. And as a 5-6-year-old, that sort of really scars you a little bit because you're confused. And then when you grow up, you're angry. I saw her fall out of our car once after a drunken argument with my dad as we were travelling down the road, and she got caught under the car, fractured a skull. They had to airlift her. It was at a country town, airlift her out of the country town. She nearly died from that. So these are the sort of experiences that I grew up in as a 4, 5 and 6-year-old until she left. My dad, I seen him hit her constantly. My dad hit me constantly. I seen her boyfriends hit her. So I grew up thinking, what? This is the way you should be. This is what a male is. This is how you live in your world. This is what it's all about. This is how you treat women. This is how you treat your family. And by the time I was 14, I'd pretty much had enough. I felt like I was old enough to take care of myself, to do what I wanted to do in my life. So I left home and I left school. Took my dad outside. My dad had taught me how to box as a little kid. I took him outside and I belted the crap out of him. I stood over him. I said, this is stopping now. This will never happen again. There'll be no more of this. And I went. I didn't know where I was going. I didn't know what I was going to do. I'm 14. I'm in the big world. So I got some part-time work. I was playing sport then, and I represented my juniors, and my dream was to be another Tommy Rodonicus. Anyone know who Tommy Rodonicus is? So I wanted to be tough, gritty, angry little ant. Could take on anyone. Like he's 4 foot nothing, and he just used to pick on the biggest people. That's what I wanted to be. I wanted to play for Australia and do all that sort of stuff. That was my dream. That's what I held on to. And I thought, I'm going to do that. I was out of home for about a year, and I fell into the wrong crowd. I couldn't hold on to that dream. I just let it go. Started smoking dope, sniffing glue, and doing all that sort of stuff. And then I started to get into the occult, and then I just got into a whole darker scene of the world, and that's where I ended up here. You know, you can look back at your life and you can pick the key moments in your life and the decisions that you made that brought you to where you are today. Yeah? Good or bad. You can pinpoint them. This wasn't going anywhere good, would you agree? No, it was going to end up in tragedy, yeah? And it did. I went down to a park one night. I'd caught up, I'd started seeing again a girl that I fell in love with in primary school. Who's had a crush on someone before? Yeah? All the girls put their hand up. All the guys go, I'm not putting my hand up. You had a crush. I know you did too. So I go under the table. It's like, yep, yeah, I did. Yeah. But you know what that feels like when you're young? It's just an unbelievable feeling. Well, I had this crush on this girl. The only problem was a boyfriend found out about it. I was in 5th class, and she was in 6th class, and I always used to stand behind the portable and look at her. Bit of a pervert, you know, as a you know, she had this beautiful smile. And one day these guys come over to me and said, oh, she's around the corner, she wants to see you. And I'm like, oh, my heart just went, whew. I run around this corner as fast as I could, opened my eyes, and there was a boyfriend, 4 of his mates. Hello. So I got pummeled. But it's funny how things work out in life. 5 or 6 years later, we hook up again. And we had a crazy couple of months together. And I ended up moving in with her and her mother. She found me. The way we caught up again was she was walking past a hotel in the area that I was hanging out, and there's this guy lying unconscious on the step in his own vomit. That was me. I know him. Hang on. Is that you? So she woke me up, put me in the car, took me home, and we spent a couple of great months together. She was a drug user as well, and one night we went down to a park and used heroin together. This is another night like every other night. Next thing I remember, I woke up and I was handcuffed to a bed, and I just started screaming out her name. I didn't know what had happened. There was chaos in the room at the hospital. There were people trying to bust through the police. There was a police guard around me. There was people trying to bust through the door, screaming and yelling, "You killed her, you killed her." I was handcuffed to the bed because my girlfriend died next to me from the heroin overdose. I didn't even know. I was so off my face. I'd overdosed myself. My kidneys had failed. I had renal failure. I was going to die. She died next to me. And I was charged with manslaughter, and I was facing 8 years in prison because of her death. Now, an amazing thing happened that day. Despite all that stuff, I was in that park for 10 hours dying from the overdose. My kidneys had finished. I was just wasting away. For some reason that morning, someone came through that park to a taller block right in the middle of the park, walked past and saw us. Any more time there, I wouldn't be here today. When you have that experience, it profoundly changes your life. You see things through different glasses now. Things mean different things to you. You don't have the same attitude anymore. You don't see things the way other people see things. And I don't know why that happened, but it's brought me here today. Way back then, that person finding me has brought me here today to share with you. Now, I got taken from there. I had a number of operations, and I got put in Long Bay Prison to await trial for the manslaughter. I don't want to go into all that sort of stuff. It just wasn't a good experience. But I got a second chance. Right. I got a second chance, mate. I got another opportunity. I got another chance at life to have a go again, to make something out of it, to show my dad, to show everybody that I could become something, that I could do something with my life. It was over, finished. I was gone. And I wanted to go. All that is saying is that I've had enough. I'm finished. I don't want to do this anymore. And it's not the same exactly as what it's like in business, but sometimes in business it's like, I've had enough. I don't want to do this anymore. This is not working. I can't see my family. I'm feeling sick. I'm too tired. I've got debt. I can't turn this thing around. I'm struggling. It's hard. I was only heading in one direction. I've been suicidal a number of times. You know, like I said, I'm a bad speaker. I'm also bad at suicide too. Crap at it. I remember that person there biting my head. That was my best mate. He passed away in 1987. He took 50 heart tablets. We're not sure whether he suicided or not, but my girlfriend died in 1984 and he died in 1987. It was the worst couple of years of my life. But I remember we were sitting in a train station at Villawood. Anyone know where Villawood is in Sydney? Yeah, it's the shithole of the earth. Sorry. Don't know offence if you live there, but it is. Some places just are what they are, yeah? All right? And I remember we took so much LSD that we were so off our heads, and I was standing up on a chair and I'm giving this speech to him down there watching me, saying, no one will ever take our friendship away. No one will ever beat us. We are victorious. We will prevail. The world is ours. And we're crying our eyes out and we're like, oh. And next minute we sort of blink and he's not there and I'm walking back streets of Villawood and I thought, I'm going to go and see my dad. 2 o'clock in the morning, what a great idea. He's about 15 kilometres away. I'm depressed, I'm angry, I'm annoyed. Oh, I've just had enough. I had a Daniel Boone hat on. You know those Daniel Boone hats with the tail? I had one of those on. Instead of hair. Well, I actually had, well, you can tell, I had a little bit of hair. So I'm walking down the back street of Villa with this Daniel Boone hat on, crying my eyes out, shaking my fists at the air. I come to this overpass at Fairfield there, at the railway station. And I was just depressed. That's it, I've had enough. I'm going to do it. So I'm influenced by drugs. You know, when you're influenced by drugs, nothing matters. So I climb up on this bridge, railway line's down there. I said, that's it. I'm going to jump. I'm going to wait for the next train to come. I'm going to jump. And it started to rain. It's pouring now. God, I hate you. You can imagine it, yeah? Over dramatic. But I really wanted to do it. 2 o'clock in the morning. The only problem was the trains don't run at 2 o'clock in the morning. Oh, yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's it. Where are these trains? Because it makes sense. Jump in front of the train, you're dead, yeah? Jump onto the tracks, it's going to hurt. I could figure that out. This isn't a good thing. It's the fucking train. Come on. So after, probably an hour and a half, I was like, yeah, I'm not so angry anymore. So up down and went up to my dad. It's like, you can't even kill yourself. You're useless. You're hopeless. How am I going, Rock? All right, good. Am I okay? Yeah, you still happy?
I'm learning a lot.
All right, that's good. So it was only going to end in tragedy, and it did. Yeah? You know the moral of the story, you get it. So I'm sitting in prison. I've got Johnny Pedophile coming up to my cell every night. I've got, Jimmy Sweatshot, the big killer, threatening to kill me every day. I've had 2 fights already in my cell. I've got people, a funny thing happened. I was in a cell with a heroin user and I'd stopped all the drugs. And a couple of guys come into the cell. They go, stand out there on the landing and be a cockatoo. And I went, yeah, no worries. I'm like trying to be cool and fit in. So I go outside on the landing. I'm going, what's a cockatoo? What's a cockatoo? I don't know what a cockatoo is. So I'm just standing there like this. Shit. And the screws started walking down towards me. I'm sort of going, what do I do? Do I go in? I don't know what to do. So they I'm just froze. So they walk past me and they walk straight into the cell. Right? Fortunately, they'd finished. So the screws come out. I've gone in the cell. They're going, what are you doing? You're supposed to be a cockatoo. I go, what's a cockatoo? They go, when you see the prison guards, they go, yell, come in, tell us. So that didn't end really, really good because I had a fight with a cell guy. I got thrown out of there, put in another cell. So I was scared shitless in jail. I needed $10,000 to get out on bail. Finally got that together through a few friends. And then 2 years later, I went to court and I got found not guilty of manslaughter. It was 5 days in front of a jury. And they found me not guilty of manslaughter. Now, getting that bail money and getting out was the next miracle. Because if I would have stayed in jail for 2 years, I wouldn't have had the capacity to be where I am today. Because it wasn't going the right way. Do you understand? Yeah? So that's miracle number 2. So I've been given 2 chances now. 2 chances to make it right. So I pop out as a 21-year-old. I'm an emotional cripple. I don't know what to do with my life. I'm unemployable. I'm still angry and bitter. So I get with this good Christian family. So I've gone from this to a Christian family. Tell me that wasn't a shock. And I started to rebuild my life again, and they helped me, and eventually I went around and spoke to over 150,000 kids in prisons, youth centres, universities, wherever I could find young people, I was talking to them, and I was telling them about my story, and I was trying to help them. But I was still broken. I got married, and I was being violent still. So I was in a domestic violent relationship. Now, I don't say this because I'm proud of it. I say it to prove a point, because this is miracle number 3. So I used to hit my wife because I was angry and I didn't take responsibility for my life. And I blamed who? Her. And who else? Everyone. This went on for a couple of years until I was confronted and told, you've got to stop this. So I went to a men's group. I went to therapy for 5 years. Miracle number 3. I had good people around me that believed in me, that rooted for me, that supported me, that said, "This, you can't do this, you have to change it." And I went and did something about it. That was miracle number 3. And then from that point on, I committed my life to changing myself. That's why the first slide said success starts from the inside out. We're all looking for success to start where? Out here. We're trying to fix our business. We're trying to get the new marketing thing. We're trying to get the new thing happening over here and this and make that work and do this and do this. It's all external, yeah? But what we need to do is we need to start where? In here. This is where we need to start. Success starts from the inside. And from that moment, after those 3 miracles, I went on a whole fully charged path of self-development and self-growth. And I'm going to show you a couple of key things that helped me change to bring me to where I am now. Who's seen 127 hours? Yeah? So Aaron Ralston goes mountain climbing. What happens? He gets stuck. A rock sticks his arm between the cliff and there, and he can't move it. And over 127 hours, he deliberates about what he's going to do. Yeah? And if you've seen the story, you'll see that once he figured out that if he broke his arm, it's going to be easy to cut through, then he was right. Up until that point, he couldn't figure out how to get the arm off. He said, if I cut, I can't, the bone's there, what am I going to do? So he was in this predicament for 127 hours until he got to that point where he figured it out. I can break my arm, I can cut through this, this will be easy. What I've learned in life, using this as an example in my story, is that one of the key things about success is, and motivation, is resilience. Yeah? It's being resilient. It's that ability to come back time and time and time again. It's the ability to be that corporate athlete that recovers quickly from setbacks, that recovers quickly from disappointment, that recovers quickly from the bank balance being really low, that recovers quickly from staff giving you the shits, that recovers quickly by your kids in your ears. Yeah? Recovery is important. You know what? Because shit's going to happen every single day. It's just going to keep happening. So building resilience into your life, into your workplace, into your team, into your business is one of the most important things. And that's what I decided to do a number of years ago, is to be resilient in everything that I do. Doesn't matter what comes at me, what happens, how hard it is, how difficult, how quick can I come back? How quick can I bounce back from it? How quick can I make it different? I need a volunteer.
Oh, gee, Angie.
Okay.
Put your hand up.
No, no, oh, just so you know.
I've got 8 minutes to go.
No, this is yeah. He's giving you 9.
Oh, good. I'm on. Can you hold that for us? What's your name?
Dennis.
Dennis. Hey, Dennis. Hold that.
Cheers.
Just hold it out there. So what do you think I'm going to ask?
Half full or half empty?
Okay. All right. Just hold it out there, Faison. I want to know how heavy that is.
Oh, yeah. Depends how long you're holding.
Throw some numbers out there.
500 grams.
500 grams? About the same? 150 grams? A couple of tons?
No, it's getting heavier.
So, right now it might be that. What's it going to be in half an hour?
Very, very heavy.
What's it going to be in a day? What's it going to be like in a week if he still has to hold it? Sorry, I love fantails. Is that unetiquette as a speaker to do that? Because I just did that. I can't believe I just did that.
Hang on, he's got that
Now I'm
taken
sweating
to
again.
3 now.
Has anyone got a beer? I'm hanging for a beer.
Got a glass of water for you.
Sorry, hold on. Has the water changed? No, it hasn't. Thanks, mate. Give me a round of applause.
Cheers.
Needs that for the fantail now.
I was holding on to so much junk for years and years and years. So many limiting beliefs. So much self-doubt. So much disappointment. So much irresponsibility and blame. How heavy do you think it was? I made it so heavy that I couldn't carry it, that it just overwhelmed me. It paralysed me. It crippled me. Because I kept hanging on to it and I wouldn't let it go. When in reality, I was creating all that, wasn't I? Yeah? Here's a question. Where does a thought exist? Where's your mind? Point to your head. Where's your mind? In your heart. Some people are going here, some people are going here, some people are going, oh, he's left us. It was that fantail. He's gone. We hold on to stuff that gets heavy, 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 so heavy that it just directs and it guides our life. It just drives everything that we do. When in reality, it's not even there because a thought is something that we create. Show me your thought. Show it to me. Get it out now and give it to me in my hand. Can anyone do that? You can't. So therefore, where does it come from? Where? Who makes it? Who creates it? Who does it start with? Who does it finish with? Excuse me, I'm just trying to get rid of my fan phone. I'm going to be on one of those blooper shows. World's worst speakers. Number 7, Xavier from Australia eating a panto.
We can make that happen.
That's funny. This is supposed to be motivating, guys. Come on. You know my point, yeah? The longer you hold on to that stuff, the harder you make it. As soon as I let it go, as soon as I realise that I've just created all this stuff that doesn't really exist, I've just made it exist. We can go all the way down to the quantum physics level of vibration and atomic particles, and we're just vibrating here. So we create the vibration. So thought is the same. I guarantee all the thoughts and limiting beliefs that you have really aren't true. I can go about my dad and say, I hated my dad because he did this and that because I've got a thought about it, yeah? And I can hold on to that and it gets heavy and heavy and heavy and heavy and heavy and it rules my life. Until I realise that, hang on a second, that what happened on Tuesday the 4th, 1972, happened on Tuesday the 4th, 1972, at that moment in time for 2 minutes. That's when it happened. That's when the reality of it was, not in 2001 on Tuesday the 24th of April. Once I started to realise that and let that go, that was liberating. Because I'm living a life where I'm being resilient. I'm coming back quickly and I'm letting go of the junk. Eckhart Tolle, who's heard Eckhart Tolle? Talks about being the observer. This is what happens with thought. You feel bad, you feel disappointed, you jump on yourself, you feel you're not good enough, you don't think you're going to make it, it gets too hard, it's too difficult, so you become that. You are that thought. Yeah? That's what happens. When you're not really. Have we got a whiteboard here? Did we get a what? Don't worry about it. When you are not that experience is simply a chemical reaction in your brain that emits peptides and hormones into your body that creates a feeling we call an emotion that we do what? Act out a behaviour. Yeah? Imagine if we stood beside it and we go, that's interesting. And we looked at it from an observational point of view. Do that next time. You get doubt, wrong beliefs, don't think you can do something, get pissed off, frustrated, angry. Just almost step outside yourself and have a look at it and go, that's interesting. That's not me. Once you start to do that, it's a liberating experience. Because now you're not the thought, you're not the emotion, you're not holding on to the water so it's not getting heavier. You're free and you're released. I did it. I've been doing it for about 15 years. Constantly conditioning myself, making myself, when I feel disappointed, get the shit, something's not working for me, I stop, I go, hang on a second. This feeling that I'm getting is a response. It's not me. I'm not that thought. I'm not that disappointment. I'm not that frustration. I'm not that anger. Does this make sense? It's bad luck if it doesn't, because that's the only way I can explain it. Okay. I want you to write down one solution right now that would change the course of your business. I know that all of you here are going through some challenge in your business. It might be a little one, might be a massive one, right? Might be one that's not that important. It might be one that's just going to make or break you. But I want you to write down one solution that could help you deal with that situation, issue, challenge. Who wants to say something? Come on, let's go. Yep.
Win lotto.
Sorry?
Win lotto.
Win lotto, is that a solution? It's a dream, I think. Another one.
Implement what I've learned today.
Okay, what? And what would it solve? What's the challenge? What's the issue? And what are you going to do to solve it? What's the solution?
Well, there's a few. I guess one of them would be changing my mindset
Changing your mindset about what?
about thinking that I can't do something.
Okay, so you think you can't do something. What is it you think you can't do? Do you want to? Sorry.
Oh.
Sorry. What is it you think you can't do?
Yeah, I have another one.
I'm not 100% confident that I can afford the new business that I want to start.
Okay, not 100% confident that I can afford the new business I want to start. So the solution is what?
Change my mindset.
Change your mindset and implement some of the stuff you've learnt today. Yeah? What is normally the headspace you're in when you start to think about that? What do you normally say to yourself? Apart from, oh shit!
But I can't do it.
Okay, so can you see that? Can't do it lives up here with problems, yeah? And solutions is a way forward, right? Now here's the cool thing, thanks. Here's the cool thing. We default to what? The problem, is that right? Anything in life, we get a challenge, that's our default mechanism. We default to that straight away. And then we get brought around and we either get pushed into a corner or we come into a crisis and we have to find the what? The solution, right? That's our pattern. We just default to it. That's the way we're conditioned, okay? When we start doing just a simple exercise like that, first up, yep, so challenge, issue, problem, what's facing us in business, get it out on paper, what would a solution be? Just put it out there. What would a solution be? Do you know what happens to the brain? Well, yeah, you're sort of right. What happens to the brain when you start to look from a solution-focused approach is there's regions in the top part of your brain that get activated. Now, I won't get into this, but I simply want you to understand this with problems and solutions when you're facing challenges. The lower part of our brain when we get challenged is the survival part, yeah? So what do you think we do when we're faced with a challenge? Don't think we can do it. Shit, that's going to cost too much. This is going to be difficult. Yeah, fight it, we run, we stand still, we don't want to do anything about it. We react, we're very reactive, yeah? But when we start looking at the solution straight away, the lower part of our brain gets silenced. The top part of our brain, which is the reasoning part of our brain, where the clarity is, where we're most productive, kicks into action. Do you think that we could overcome a lot more that we deal with if we use that part of our brain? Yes or no? Yes. Science shows us that we can ask certain questions, right? We can just ask certain questions and that will activate regions in our brain that we need to take us toward solving an issue, not away from it and being reactive. When I found this out, revolutionised my life. Totally revolutionised it. Because I consistently reacted to problems. I can't do it. Too much. I'm angry. You shit me. Why don't they do that? I wish this would work. Constantly reacting to problems. When I started to ask questions and try and find a solution, and that exercise you did, was that easy or hard? Your brain clicked into the higher part of its functioning and went, hang on, I reckon we could work out a way to make this work. That's what happened. It went from down here in the back to the top part. It went from survival reacting primal to intelligent, cooperative, collaborative, functioning, I'm going to move forward. This is what revolutionised my life because I was too reactive. So I've become resilient. I'm bouncing back quicker. Yep. I've let go of emotion and all the baggage because I realised that I'm not that thought. Yep, makes sense? And now I ask questions around finding the solution first before I start pissing and moaning about the problem. You can control the way your brain works. The latest stuff in positive psychology and neuroscience through a whole host of authors is showing us that we can control the chemical responses of our brain. I teach people how to manage their amygdala response in my coaching. So they can manage their emotions, therefore manage the decisions they make, therefore manage their behaviours. Who would like to do more behaviour that's going to make you more successful than not? Yeah, of course you would. But what do? We do behaviour that keeps us behind the 8 ball sometimes, or we think we can't, or we worry, or we stress, or we move away, as opposed to moving forward. We think we have to know all the answers before we take a step. We don't. We just have to ask the right questions. Because when we ask the right questions, we activate a different part of our brain, which creates a different response, which creates a different behaviour. Once I learned this, changed everything. So I went from a very reactive person. Now I hope you're following this from the photo I showed you. This is more about looking at this change and evolve to now than it is about anything else. This is where the power is. 2 sales guys were sent to Africa. The boss said, go over there and sell shoes. So they get over there. One sales guy rings the boss up and goes, mate, you're an idiot. I'm coming back. No one's wearing shoes over here. Stupid idea. Other sales guy rings up the boss and goes, boss, you are a genius. We're going to make millions. Boss says, why? He goes, no one's wearing shoes over here, mate. So simple, isn't it? So simple. You know, every day the success of your business is built on that. That simple little scenario. Every single day. Because what is that about? Perception. Yeah? You have a perception of your business or things in your business or things that are happening in your business, yeah? That's one or the other, yeah? It's either, we're not going to sell any shoes here, or it's, we're going to sell a bucket load of shoes. When I learnt this, it was revolutionary. I'm on a path to self-development, remember, yeah? I've come from the streets of King's Cross, 3 miracles, give me another chance. I'm going to make this happen. I'm committed now, yeah? Resilience, bouncing back. I want to make it happen. Yeah? And so on. And optimism is a learned behaviour. It's something we can learn. If you haven't read Martin Seligman's book, Learned Optimism, write it down and read it. Who's read it, by the way? Yep. Learned Optimism, Martin Seligman. You've got to read it. He created positive psychology, which has only been out for 12 years. We've only known about positive psychology for 12 years. Up until that point, hundreds and hundreds of thousands of papers were written on what? Nervousness, anxiety, schizophrenia, depression. Like, that's been psychology. Martin pops up and goes, hang on a second, what if we looked at what the brain's doing when we're winning? When we're feeling good? When we're happy? When we're successful? What do you think is going to happen? You have a perspective, yeah? Whenever you're faced with something, you choose a perspective, good or bad. When you condition yourself to look at this perspective of, we're going to sell a lot of shoes, no one's wearing them here, your business changes. You change. Because you start to see through different eyes now. Make sense? All right. Gotta love Johnny Cash. Who loves Johnny Cash? Anyone? What's with all the back? Look like you're going to a funeral. Maybe I am. And maybe you're going to a funeral. And it's your business's funeral. Yeah? Because you've given up. It's too tough. Get the tissues out. Let's have a cry. Yeah? Can't do it anymore. It's too hard. It's too hard. Everyone else's business is better than mine. It's not going to work. Can't make it happen. I'm too dumb. You've got to have a bit of attitude. I come from a background where I had lots of attitude, but it was ego-driven attitude, yeah? It was ego-driven attitude. Now I've got a healthy attitude. If I'm in business, it's game on. If you're in the business I'm in, I respect what you do, but we're competing. Let's go. I want to win. I'll collaborate. I'll join forces. You know, I built a 6-figure business in coaching in a year on Facebook. Figure that out. Andrew said, someone said, do you have a business card? I said, yeah, it's Facebook. That's my business card. Because I got an attitude that I want to win. If you're not playing to win, what are you playing to do? Be nice, help the community. Are you? Make some money to give to charity? Is that what you're doing? Isn't that nice, Rod? Huh? It's beautiful. Bullcrap. You're playing to win. That's why you're in business. You want to make some money. When you make some money, you give it away. That's good. But you're in it to make some money for your family, for yourself, for your community, for those that don't have it, yeah? You've got to have an attitude about that. Because if you don't, is business fair? No. No. Someone's just going to smack in the side of the head on the way past. Stupid. Aren't they? Indirectly, unintentionally, of course. But that's what happens in business. Once I figured this out, it changed everything because I thought, hang on a second, I went from being really aggressive, egotistical to too nice. Oh, okay, yeah. It was tipped too much. I had to come back out, realise my giftings and go, hang on a second, let's play. Let's do this. Let's have a go. Let's get into it. What do I need to do? Who's in my market? Who's doing stuff? So that's why I went into real estate, because I've been a coach for 6 years. So I've worked with companies. I did that. I did life coaching. I did some leadership coaching. I did some culture creation. Did some team coaching. I did any sort of coaching there was. I tried all the coachings. I did a couple of real estate agencies and stuff, and then I decided I needed to get into a niche. I had a mentor. She was very, very successful in business, makes millions every year. I sat down with her and she goes, what do you do? I said, well, I change people's thinking to make them successful. She goes, oh, that's a bit broad. She goes, what song are you singing? And I'm going, what song am I singing? She goes, what song are you singing above everyone else so you see? And I go, I'm trying to think of a song. I go, I don't know. She goes, you know what you're doing. That's why you're making the money you're making. Go away. Come back to me when you know what you're doing. That was a light bulb moment. And she did that in front of about 10 other business people. Okay. I'm on the phone to my partner. You should see what this lady just said to me at this conference thing that one of my mentors that I'm paying like $10,000 a year to be a part of. She just like said this and that, you know. But what my partner said, harden up. Toughen up, will you, sook? So I went back and I realised that I had to have an attitude. I had to be clear about what I wanted to do. I had to be direct in my approach to it. So I went out there and I did it. That's what I did in a year. Just about to launch an online program in the same industry in March, and hopefully that's going to leverage and grow and grow and grow. Not because I'm anything super special. It's because I started to develop myself and get that sort of attitude. I got about 5 minutes. The other thing I've learned is you've got to be a sponge. Who spent more than $5,000 over the last year on their personal development? Yep, so half the room. Okay, that's healthy, right? Now, I was in a position where I didn't have any money, right? I was a seminar freeloader. So I'd go to all the free seminars. Who does that? Yeah. I went to 24 seminars in a 3-month period. 24 seminars in a 3-month period. I went to them all. Did I buy anything? Nothing. Because I knew what I was doing, right? Took all the information, everything, you know, I was rocking and rolling. But all my friends over the last few years that have been going to the same seminars and getting stuff, what do you think was happening to them? Their businesses were growing. It was changing. I'm thinking, So I sat down with a coach and we realised that I had beliefs around money. Yep, like the water. I believed that money was always there. It was my right to free training. And if I needed money, it would just turn up. And it's always turned up. But has it got me anything? No. A lot of good times. I don't need good times right now. I've got 2 kids. Trying to build a business. If I was smarter, I'd have some collateral to do some stuff, bigger stuff, yeah? So I learned that lesson pretty quickly. And I started to pay for my coaching. I spent $38,000 in 2 years on my own mentoring and coaching. Borrowed the money and went and did it. I shit myself. I was scared as I'd never done that before. I was worried. What if it doesn't work? What if it? You know what? 6-figure income in a year through Facebook. Figure that out. I don't know how that worked. I just got out there with the attitude, but like a sponge, soaked everything up, parted with my cash, threw caution to the wind, rolled the dice, had a crack. Here I am. I don't know where you are as far as your learning and your growth, but if you're going to stinge on it, like I did, yeah? If you're not going to invest, if you're going to go, oh no, I can't afford that. But then you're out having dinners and you're going over doing this and you've got the right polish for your car or whatever, you got it wrong. All my experience interviewing all top performers in the field I'm in are like sponges. And that's why they got to where they've gotten. So, lastly, the last thing I learned this, and this was the biggest one. Got a couple of minutes? Yeah, I'm done. It's not the dog in the fight, it's the fight in the dog that matters. Yeah? It doesn't matter what happens out here. You know it's easier to change your mind than it is your external circumstances. Do you know that? But we try and change our external circumstances rather than trying to change our mind. Does that make sense? I guarantee if I sat with you in 3 months' time and you made a commitment here today to change your mind rather than your external circumstances, if you made a commitment to start to work on yourself, start to be more resilient, more optimistic, to start to look at how you could learn more and soak more things up in life, I guarantee your business will be different because you're starting from the inside. And I love this because it's not about anything that can happen to you. It's about that fight, that grit, that determination that's inside every single one of us. That's what counts. In each of you, you've got greatness, you've got gifts, you've got talents, you've got purpose. Each of you can do more than you think you can do. I'm like a little spinning top now that's just gone out of control. You can't stop me. Don't put me on the table, I'll break everything. Like, I got no friends because no one wants to hang around me. I'm just a menace. You know what I mean? It's like, oh no, go away. Don't come here. I'm like, yeah, let's go. Nothing's going to stop me. I don't care. Bring it, let's go. Bring it. I've been to hell and back. It's not going to happen. You're not going to take what I've got away from me now. It's not going to happen. The line's drawn in the sand. It's my time. It's my world. I'm going to get out there and I'm going to take it. Because it's in me. And you know, for the first time in my life, I believe it. For the first time in my life, I feel good about me. I feel like I'm something special now. I'm not a big $1 million man. I'm not better than anyone else. I'm just like you guys. I put my pants on one leg at a time. Although women with tight jeans have two legs. It's like, I just see a young bloke having a crack. Just like you are. But I'm a fighter. I'm a fighter. And I'm not going back to where I came from. I'm going to take everything that I've learned into the future and I'm going to apply it to everything that I do. Because I'm not going to go back again. And so subsequently, over the last 10 or so years, I've developed my life that I want. I've played cricket on the Sydney Cricket Ground. I've been to an NFL game with my nephew. Brought out a book even. Who wants a book? It's my book. There you go, mate. You got it. There's some up the back as well. That's 16 authors talking about motivation. Make sure you have a look before you go. I've travelled around the world with my kids. I wanted to kill them then. I still want to kill them now. I was at Niagara Falls. I was thinking, how deep's this water? We're at the Statue of Liberty. I'm thinking, this is an island, isn't it? I can leave them here. It's a friend of mine. She's had cancer. I get to share people's lives at a real level now. That's my partner, Teresa, down there. I know she's playing above her weight, but hey, you know. That's, put your glasses on. I did a ride for young people living with cancer. I rode from Sydney to Melbourne by myself. Raised $30,000. I went back to King's Cross, become a youth worker, spent 4 years in there with the worst kids in Australia, trying to help them change. Tried to give back, wanted to do something different. Spend a lot of time with my kids now. I created a group called the Upper Limits Club. We're taking a group of people to base camp Mount Everest next April 2014. If you're interested, go to upperlimitsclub.com.au, upperlimitsclub.com.au, and all the information's there. It's going to be a personal development, self-growth trek with Stephen Bock, my friend, who's the 61st Australian to climb Mount Everest. He's going to be our guide. Myself and a business coach, Nick Pasalo, are going to run a whole training program through 18 days whilst we're in one of the most beautiful places in the world. So we created that club as well. Like I said, I created my real estate business now, and it's been very successful. I do ocean swimming. I'm fit. I'm 47. I'm as healthy as I've ever been. Got a few Christmas pounds on, but that's all right. That gives me an excuse to drink a bit more while it's hot, But I'm happy. I'm happy. And I'm grateful. Grateful that I can come and do this. Grateful that people listen to me and, take something away that they can apply. So, I don't know what it... I don't know what it is for you, but I do know if you grab a hold of some of those principles that I talked about today that I've applied to my life, that have taken me from where I was, just a bum street kid going nowhere, to now, I work with multi-million-dollar companies. People that make millions in their companies come to me and say, mate, I need leadership. I need to grow. I need to change my senior salespeople's mindsets and performance. Can you help me? I never would have thought that would happen. I just think, let's keep getting up, Rod. Let's keep getting up and trying to be better. If I can do that, if I can go from there to here, if I can make my life even look half as good as I want it, anyone can do it. Anyone can do it. Thanks very much for your time. I appreciate your patience.
Awesome, guys. Up on your feet if you can. Give Xavier a big round of applause. That's brilliant, mate. Thank you very much. What an awesome story. Wow.
I'm going to have a fan towel.
A fan towel. Why wait? Guys, what do you reckon? I've got to sit down, don't I? What an amazing story. Cool. I knew it was good, but I hadn't heard it before. So, very cool. I know that I drew some inspiration out of that. So, I'd love to hear from you guys. What was it? Have you got any questions for Jet? I mean, he's obviously gone through some deep, dark times and come out to be the successful business person he is, business coach he is. I know that personally. So have you got any questions around, I don't know, do you want to know more information about what it was like in the cross, growing up on the streets? Maybe how'd you get out? What was it? What was the turning point? What was the defining moment that that made you step up and said, that's it, not now, not me? Put your hands up. Yeah, Paulie.
When you've had that defining moment and a couple of years down the track, you've made some significant changes and you still find yourself not where you want to be, but where you're heading in the right track. How do you deal with the emotional struggle of saying, I want to be there now, and you're still not there?
See, people get too attached to the outcome. Yep, that's the problem. You got to forget. Yeah, and I respect that. That's fine. We live in, that's our Western world. That's the construct we live in. Yeah, but there ain't no peace and contentment in that. Yep. In the corporate world, you know this, Rod's riddled with people who had the same objective. Yep. A few make it through, and they're content, happy, and peaceful. Okay, but most keep chasing the two rabbits. Yep. Once I can only talk about me. Once I let go of the outcome. Yep. And found the peace and the presence of right now, okay, then that changed everything. I still play hard, yeah? I want to win. I want to be the best, but that's a game. My life revolves around that. It's the wrong way. So I've resolved myself to the fact that that's not what life is about for me, yeah? Life's about getting up, playing hard, but that's not what existence is. Existence is, hey, I'm here right now, I'm present, I'm with you. This is my moment right now, I'm not going to get it again. What does it mean? How am I feeling? What should I do here? Tomorrow I'm going to go and speak to someone else. I'm going to do this, and I want to be my best. I want to learn. I want to grow. I want to play hard and do that. But if I keep looking at that, that just does your head in, like you're saying. It's just a cycle. You've got to get that out of your mind. And that's when you've got to change this. You change it from the inside out. That's an external driver that's trying to pull you towards it every single day. If that's what makes you happy, you're missing something in here, mate. Yeah? That was my experience anyway. Once I stopped that, anything I do is successful now, you know? But it's not successful in what we term success. It might be to some aspects, but success for everyone is different. So let go of the outcome. That's the message. And look, this is what I say to people. If you're not having fun doing what you're doing, why are you doing it? There's something wrong there. Now, well, I've got a family to feed. Okay, let's have a look at this, right? In Australia, you're never going to starve. In Australia, you're never not going to have a home. Yeah? In Australia, you're never not going to be safe most of the time, right? So that throws that argument out the door. Yeah? You can stop working, be a bum, and still get 3 meals a day, have accommodation from the government, and be given a chance to try and find work. Worst case scenario. So I know half of this room probably is not happy. Yeah? So either get happy with what you're doing, make it work for you rather than you work for it, and then those sorts of issues about chasing that elusive, it's like a mirage, isn't it? You see it there, and you drive hard for it. You know, when you're young, we were out in the country a lot of the times. Your dad would go, there's water up there. You go, oh, really? So you'd fly up and go, no, there's not, it's up there. Yeah, it's up there. It was always up there. You'd never get to it. And that's what you're talking about. You're never going to get there, mate. It's like my mate, he's got a 40-foot boat. He sits on his 40-foot boat, watches the 80-foot boats go by. What do you think he's thinking? I got to get me one of those 80-foot boats, right? Yeah, have a look at some Buddhism, okay? I don't want to get out there, but just have a look at Buddhist principles of detachment. You know, I coach a lot of my people around detachment. Play hard, have fun, want to win, build an empire, yeah? But don't be attached to it. Because once you're attached to it, it controls you. You don't control it.
That's awesome. That's a great answer. That is a really good answer.
And if you're not happy, get happy or take drugs.
So we're going to go good answer straight back into a not so good answer.
Options. It's all about options.
Yeah, right.
Is that on camera?
Well, actually, yeah, it was on camera with the tax thing.
It's Wollongong, isn't it?
I guess the point, if I can reframe that, is that we've all got options. Anybody else for questions for Jet? No, that's great. No, anyway, let's. Any more questions for Jet? Yes, Angie.
How you managed to cope with that Christian family, or how they managed to cope with you?
Well, I had what you call a born again experience in jail, and where I'm sitting now, it doesn't mean as much as it did then. But right then, it was all that I had, if I reflect on it, and I held on to that hope. You know, I held on to the hope that there was somebody else, there was something else, there was forgiveness, there was redemption, there was salvation, because I'd been a bad person. I'd hurt some people and I'd done some wrong things. And, you know, you carry a sort of shotgun around, you're bound to do something wrong. So I had a lot of guilt, and that for me at that time was part of my journey. And so when I went into the Christian family, I was still crazy and wild, but I was learning the principles of the faith. And I look at it as, you know, we can learn a lot from that sort of religion. We can learn a lot from Buddhism, like I said. As I grew up 20, 25 years later, it doesn't mean as much to me in that context, but it still you know, resonates with me in a lot of ways.
Brilliant.
Is it?
Yeah. Yeah, Kim.
It's a bit of a strange one though. Do you think that lots of successful people like you have that drive because they've come from adversity as opposed to a kind of fairly safe,
Yep.
comfortable middle class existence?
Yeah.
Because there are a lot of people I've heard
Oh.
speak. And I'm sorry, I haven't read your book, but
Yeah.
they seem to have that same pull.
Yeah,
kind of
I think when you look at motivational speaking, there's always a before and after story, I guess, with anything. But I can speak for the real estate industry. I've interviewed a lot of the top agents, male and female. I work with a number of them as well, and I've been in a lot of top agents. I don't think it's the case generally. I just think the fact that the motivational industry or speaking industry sort of maybe draws them to. Because a lot of the guys I met that have been successful come from great homes, you know, a bit of hardship here and there, but nothing extreme. That's been, I don't know, Rod, you've heard some probably more speakers than me. That's my experience. I think my story's rare. You know, they're rare stories. It's not something that happened. There's 7 billion people on the planet. There's only a few idiots like me that do shit like that and live to tell the story. You know, we're not smart people. We're not, you know, I think the world's more intelligent than that. So most of the people that I've met that are successful haven't come from that sort of a background. But, funny you say this, right? A lot of successful, they see a pattern in that when they start to get into business, they're failing more often than they're successful. That's what I've found a pattern to be. And it's that tenacity to continue to go that makes them successful. So that's their story. So you might have heard that sort of a thing as well.
Yeah, and actually, if I can just add to that as well, the people that do come from adversity are the fighters. And obviously with business, and you guys are in business or your business leaders, that adversity, you got to get up. And like you said, you got to be fighting every day.
Right.
There's not many days you can get up and have a bad day.
Yeah.
And the people that come from that challenging...
And the honest thing is, right, you guys, if you haven't been where I was, you're smarter than me. Yeah? You're ahead of the game. You've got a better opportunity. You're much smarter. You're obviously more sensible and more mature. You know, you've done all right. So, you know what I mean? So, yeah, it's sometimes almost embarrassing where you've come from. I mean, but it's not because I've made something of it. But I respect people more that haven't had to deal with that sort of stuff, because if you can still get into a business, start one, have a crack, yeah, and want to try and make it work without that type of thing, then... Mate, my hat's off to you. That's an awesome job, because it takes, you know, everyone has to get up and have a go, and I like that. So,
Brilliant. Good answer, Kim. Yeah, cool. Anybody else? Before we finish up with Jet? It is a fantastic Jet. So, guys, if you can put your hands together once again for Jet Xavier, thank you very much.
thanks, mate.
Awesome.